My name is Carolyn Cowan and we're exploring shame. I get asked a lot of questions about shame for good reason, because it's not really being talked about enough, and I've worked with shame for a decade and a half, 15 years. Sounds like a long time. It is a long time. I know a lot about this very extraordinary emotion, and I get people who argue that it isn't an emotion. I think it's a moot point. Shame is fascinating because it's very primal. And primal means that it brings up in you, it elicits very intense primal emotions. Generally, the most baseline of those emotions is attack, protect, or defend. And so the moment that you get triggered, I'm a psychotherapist, I can use that word with a lot of awareness of what it means, but the moment that you hit your shame, you will go into attack, protect, or defend. Now, in the range of questions that I do get asked, people quite often ask me, why do I apologise for everything? It's a great question. So why do you, if you are an apologiser, why do you constantly, gosh, I'm sorry. Can you see how you are protecting yourself and defending yourself? You might not say, you might actually be a soother. You might be one of those people who fawns and goes, oh God, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry. You might do that, which is actually weirdly not only distressing for you, but elicits a lot of anger, brings up a lot of anger in the other person. So apologizing is, obviously, I've made a mistake and I can hopefully elegantly apologize. And actually, if you notice, as I talk about apologizing, I will put my hand out, because what we want to have in an ideal world, between me and another person, between you and whoever is your other, your child, your parent, your sibling, your partner, your co-worker, you want to have something in an ideal world called an interpersonal bridge. An interpersonal bridge is a fascinating thing, because the interpersonal bridge it's a bond, not a secret bond, it's not a blood bond, but I'm really comfortable with you and I can express myself and I can smile and I can laugh and I can get sad. Or, obviously with some people you can't, co-workers probably, or your boss, but it's a mutual respect and a mutual understanding. And so there's an invisible bridge. It's a fascinating thing, this bridge. Now, if I was in relationship with somebody and I chose to make a sharp comment, or I chose to say something a bit bitchy, or even unconsciously I said something that upset the other person, that other person will literally pull up a drawbridge and they will cut the bridge. I will have activated their cutting the bridge. Now, this can happen the other way. Somebody might look at me askance, they might make a comment and I might go, or harumph, and I close the bridge. Now, I could be completely unconscious of having offended the other. They could be completely unconscious of having offended me. In that case, I might say, gosh, I'm so sorry. I realize I must have said something that was upsetting. I'm really sorry. Can you notice? I put my hand out and I make an attempt to reopen the bridge. Now, in the attack, protect, defend mechanism, and you might be one of those lovely duckling and bunny rabbit saving people who doesn't know that you shame. You, the other person, I've put my hand out and said, I'm actually really sorry. I've realized that I said something that upset you. I'm really sorry. My bridge comes down. I put my hand out. I'm available. My heart is open. But that other person might say, well, actually, fuck you. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? That other person might say, no, I'm not interested. You were horrible. You were mean, and I don't like it. Can you notice how young? All of a sudden, shame makes you very young. And I might try again and I might say, look, I'm really sorry. The other thing that person might do is they might sulk and they might turn away and close themselves off. So if they're going to close themselves off, they'll probably cross their legs, fold their arms and look down. And in this posture, can you see how I'm totally unavailable? So you might be the person that does that. We've abandoned. That other person has, in that movement, action, and facial looking down and away, they've abandoned me, so that I'm shamed. Now I can respect that and I can try again. I'm really sorry. Do you need some time? I really didn't mean it. It was a completely accidental thing. I didn't realize, or I was unconscious when I said it. Now the sulking, the abandonment, that can go on for a long time, but it's one of the ways that we unconsciously shame the other person, or consciously. So the bridge is very, very important, and lots of things can break the bridge. Now, obviously we're in the 21st century. It's a vastly, what's the word? Very fractured time. It's very polarized, very partisan. Everybody's got opinions. Everybody has taken a stance about something. And quite often you may be at extreme variance with somebody very close to you. And if you are of an anxious disposition, your tendency might be to apologize, which is a form of fawning. And the apology could be, God, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Sorry, do you mind? Sorry, could you? Sorry. The funny thing is that what you do when you do that is actually you unconsciously really wind up the other person. But the reason why you are consciously or unconsciously apologizing all the time is because you're scared of being rejected. I know it's awful. I'm really sorry. But it's this child part within us. The constant apologizing is this terror of getting it wrong, the terror of making a mistake, the terror of being abandoned. I had a client yesterday. I was sitting with somebody in person yesterday, and they were talking about this. They were actually talking about hyper apologizing, constantly finding themselves apologizing to their partner. And I said, okay, play a game with me. And he looked at me. I said, we're just going to play a game. Why? And he said, what do you mean, why? I said, just go fast. Just say the first thing that comes into your head. And he said, I'm frightened of being wrong. I said, why? Because if I'm wrong, I may be rejected. Why? Because I don't feel like I'm good enough. Why? And we played this game, which is actually quite an interesting game. You can do it on your own. Why? If you've ever brought up a child or spent time with a child, or you were a child, highly likely. I remember one of my children once asking why 37 times. Now, I'm not asking the why as a child. I'm asking it as an adult because we have within us a thanatos drive when we have shame. Shame is a core belief that we are not good enough, that we are bad, we're wrong, we're toxic, we are not worthy, any number of things that we can believe about ourselves. It's a fracture to the sense of self. And what lies at the bottom of that, like the 9 realms of Dante's hell, is actually the belief that I will die, you will die. And the constant apology is an attempt to be humble, to be acceptable, to, oh God, I'm really scared of making a mistake. But the problem with constantly apologizing is that it puts the other person actually into an irritated mood. So it's also a driver of discord. It's a driver of argument. It's a driver of fighting. And you might be, conflict averse. Lots of people are, and quite often the apologizer is conflict averse, but at the same time, the behavior drives conflict. And it's to constantly apologize is to make yourself a little small, scared victim. So perhaps you could agree with me to go on a contract and start noticing. When do you say, God, I'm really sorry. 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 Don't do it. Can you notice even just watching me do it? It's not a good look. And it constantly puts you in a position where you're making the other person your persecutor. Now, you might want to do that, but that has consequences. So why do you constantly apologize? It's because you feel less than. And you're using that to try to actually, on a certain level, make the other person uncomfortable. But also you're trying to force the other person's hand to say, come on, come here. I really, I love you so much. And how young are you when you're trying to make that happen?